You're welcome back, and I can welcome you properly to the Pulse here on Joy News. My name is Elton Brobe. So this afternoon, a while ago, we brought you that news conference from the NDC headquarters where they took us through some sectorial promise, manifesto promise on education, on health, and of course on security. Right now, though, we have other stories we are keeping an eye on the program this afternoon, and very soon we'll be engaging the head of public affairs at the West African Examination Council, because as you may be aware, the WASSCE is already underway, and this afternoon 6 teachers and invigilators have been arrested for various examination malpractices. Also this afternoon, we've got an exclusive interview for you ahead of the Oguafitu Fashion Festival starting this weekend in Cape Coast. We've got an exclusive for you on what you should expect. Also, former President John Mahama is campaigning in Adan here in the Greater Accra region. On the other side, the MPP flag bearer Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is also campaigning here in the Greater Accra region. We have updates for you as we move on this. But right now, though, let's start with the West African Examination Council, because we thought it had all to do with BECE, that's the Basic Education Certificate Examination. Now we are being told that even with the West African Senior High School Examination Certificate, the matter of examination malpractices is still of concern. And this afternoon, we are learning that 6 people, including some invigilators and teachers, they've been arrested for various examination malpractices. We'll get to understand what went down and what WAEC is doing to ensure that the integrity of the examination is not compromised. Let me bring in John Kapi. John Kapi is the head of public affairs with the West African Examination Council. Mr. Kapi, good afternoon and welcome to the Pulse.
Good afternoon, and thanks for having me.
Right, so let's start from yesterday. And let me ask of your general assessment of the way the examination has gone in terms of the rules and regulation, and your general overview of what has happened so far.
Right, so far I would say that on a majority of cases, we've found out that the headmasters are helping their teachers to maintain law and order around the centers, and so making sure that the candidates oblige or they go by the rules governing the examination. There are a few others also where the story is not the same. We've had calls to pick up a few of the examination officials who breached 1 or 2 of the rules, and as we speak, some of them are in the grips of the police.
Right, so we'll come to deal with the arrests and those that are already in custody, pending further investigation and possible prosecution. But yesterday, we went, on tour with some officials of WAEC at the Osu Senior High School and, of course, at the Laboni Senior High School. Now, at the Osu Senior High School, what we witnessed was that some people had come in late, 30 minutes into the examination. Some officials pleaded with the invigilator to allow them to write. That happened. Now, at the Laboni Senior High School, 7 students came in late, 30 minutes again, 30 minutes into the examination. The law is quite clear that you should be seated 30 minutes before the examination. At Laboni Senior High School, the 7 that came in 20 minutes into the examination were prevented from writing the examination. In terms of the application of the rules and regulation and ensuring that there's fairness, I don't know whether this has come to your attention and why some were given some kind of leeway to go to, even though they had violated the law, and others were prevented from writing the examination.
Right, so you've indicated that actually the law says that you should be seated 30 minutes of time. Anybody who comes in a minute after the paper has started should not be allowed in. Now, there are some of the situations where you may have to apply certain forms of mitigation. I'm told that for some of the people, there were health reasons. There were very good reasons for which they came in late. So sometimes you have to apply a human face to some of these situations, and so that you are not seen to be too draconian in dealing with some of those cases. But then I hear in the case of Laboni in particular, unfortunately I wasn't personally there, the information reaching us indicates that these are perennial latecomers, and so the headmistress was bent on ensuring that all the officials, let me put it that way, the officials there were bent on ensuring that these people were actually punished. They simply they did not go by the rules, and for them it was a deliberate action. So we have the law, yes, but then there are situations where, for example, I was somewhere where we had one boy who was a sickler. He had sickle. It was very cold that morning, and they were walking to the examination center was difficult. There was another who was coming from the sick bay, you know. So for some of those situations, you may have to apply human faith. So maybe that is why it appears that there's a certain amount of, inconsistency with the application of the law. And that's why the law is specific on lateness to examination halls.
So therefore, the application of the law is left in the hands of the invigilator to interpret and say that because of your peculiar situation, even though the law says that you should be seated 30 minutes before the examination, because of your situation, I may allow you some kind of compassionate, consideration.
We also have a situation where if you happen to allow somebody in like that, you should produce a report to indicate that candidate so and so came in late, and these are the reasons for which they came in late. Then, as a council, we use our discretion to determine whether we could allow. So it is not about the invigilators or supervisors to use their discretion, but then even if they do, they have to, refer to us so that we determine whether indeed the reasons they are assigning to whichever latecomers is tenable or not.
Apart from the Osu Senior High and Labone, have you gotten reports of similar situations across the country?
For now, I've heard only about one case in Techiman. I think it's at some senior high or something where one boy was late for the second paper, the objective test, and so was not permitted to go in there. Apart from that, we haven't received any report. Maybe our monitors on the ground are yet to submit such reports.
And the arrests, update us on where it took place, which particular region and which school, if you have that information.
Yeah, so we've had arrests in the Bono region. We've had arrests in the Western region, Central region, and also in the Volta region. These are the areas where we picked up some people who were, engaged in some form of malpractice, and so they had to be picked up by the police. Yeah.
So 6, or we have more?
Well, so far we've registered 6. Maybe there are more that are yet to be reported to us. But then after the close of yesterday and even this morning, when I monitored our platform where the reports usually come, the number stands at 6.
And Mr. Kapi, which law did they violate, those who've been arrested?
So there were some of them who were picked up, I think, sometime last week during the ICT practical paper. They were answering the questions, and then with the intention of sending them in to be given to the candidates. There was this particular one who was picked up in the course of the examination. He had in his possession material that was relevant to the examination that was to be written at the time. There was somebody also who posed as an invigilator and was parading himself at the center. And when he was accosted, he could not actually confirm that the supervisor denied knowing him. And when he was searched, they found material on him. So these are the few incidents we've recorded so far.
So despite your appeal and caution, there appears to be some teachers and invigilators who are bent on, circumventing the rules and helping the students in the process.
Yeah, you could say so, and that's a very sad situation.
And I don't know what else we have to do to get this thing under control, to allow students to write the exam on their own strength, because you had so many issues during the BECE, and the thinking was that people would take cue from it, and yet we are experiencing this at this very level.
Yeah, so going forward, we'd have to probably hold a stakeholders meeting. Already there have been these thoughts about us being able to engage people. They should come on their own volition and offer to the vigilator to have a contract with them, and then we can fire them as and when we feel they are not abiding by the rules governing the examination. So basically what we may have to do going forward is to be able to recruit people independently and then, make sure that they offer us assistance and they apply the rules as expected.
Right. But you would say that, 6 cases reported, across the country. So generally, you will say that everything is going smoothly.
Well, these are reports that we've received. It may be that where we've not been able to go to, things are not going really right. But we are being optimistic that people would, apply reason to whatever they are doing and ensure that they abide by the rules governing the exam.
Before I let you go, I mean, this is a related matter. The NDC held a news conference last week saying that WASSCE has suspended the marking of the BECE because of government indebtedness. I don't know whether you've been paid and the marking has resumed.
Oh, well, we have, schedules for the post-examination activities. That is when they are done with the exam, what we do. As we speak, the post-examination activities are ongoing. We have controlled the scripts. We are doing the swap right now, getting them across to the venues where they are going to be marked. Now, the reason for the delay is simply the fact that, the time lapse between the completion of the BECE and the commencement of the WASSCE was such that there was no way we could have marked the BECE because the same personnel who are monitoring the WASSCE who should be doing the marking of the BECE as far as the staff of WASSCE is concerned. Also, we have examiners who currently are invigilating and supervising the WASSCE, and so we cannot take them out of the classrooms where they are invigilating and ask them to come to the marking. So basically, that is the reason for which the marking of the BECE has stalled. But as we speak, plans are far advanced. Come the 17th of September, we'll begin with the coordination. Between 17th and 21st of September, we'll do the coordination, and then the actual conference marking will begin. So, so far, we are still working on the BECE scripts.
Yeah, so you are saying that the late start in marking the paper has nothing to do with government indebtedness?
Oh, no. That does not mean that there's no outstanding payment to be made. There are still some money to be paid, but I'm just saying that the reason is not about money, but it's just about the personnel who are supposed to perform the duty.
And you have assurance that everything will be paid before you finish marking?
Oh, yeah. As at last Thursday, my colleague, Director of Finance, was at the ministry to pick up a check for the marking of the BECE, and then we had also been asked to pick up 2 checks for the WASSCE. I'm unable to confirm that those checks have been, duly delivered to us. But then, at least attempts have been made, and as and when we're able to confirm that, we'll certainly make you aware of it.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. John Kapi is Manager in charge of Public Relations with the WASSCE.